I'm going to try this again. Now, apparently the video froze. I checked it on my computer. It froze on my computer, too. I don't know what happened. So I'm going to do Minnesota take 2, and I'm going to wear a Minnesota North Stars hat, hoping that maybe the hat that I was wearing that's too tight for my head was the reason that the video froze. Because it doesn't make any sense that the video froze, so why not go with a nonsensical reason why it froze? And I'm doing this while Nashville's tied the game against Pittsburgh at 3, and I swear I've paid close attention to this game, and I really... Anyways, but, you know, I'll try to do a review of this game after I do this video here, and I'm doing this because I promised you guys, and Pittsburgh just scored to make it 4-3, I promised you guys that I would do videos for every team and get this all done well before we get into free agency and all that stuff. So, yeah, let's get into Minnesota. Now, I had it all written down. I'm just going to abandon that. Returning forward, Zach Parise, who signed for the next forever. Mikko Koivu's in his contract year, and of course, contract years are big years, usually. And Koivu was lights out for them this past season. Jason Pominville, diminishing returns there. They may ask him to waive his no-movement clause. I could see that. I could see him trying to move him out. Eric Stahl played way better than I thought he was going to. He's got 2 more years at a very affordable contract. Charlie Coyle, love the guy. A lot of flack was thrown on him as the return that they got for Brent Burns. I still don't understand that, and I mentioned this in the first version of this video I did, where I've become a Charlie Coyle backer and fan because that trade's seen as this huge one-sided deal, and it's a terrible deal for Minnesota. So, Charlie Coyle is the lovable member of the team for me. Jason Zucker, I like what he provides. He's got 1 year left on this contract, then he's RFA with arbitration rights. Chris Stewart, $1.1 million for his contract. Not a big deal there. They're not paying a lot for him, but he's, I don't know. To me, he's easily replaceable, but that's me. I've never been a big Chris Stewart fan. Joel Eriksson Ek's going to be on this lineup next year, and I think Eriksson Ek's going to be special. And I think that's part of the reason why, even though there's talk of what they're going to lose in expansion, which is going to be either a big-name forward or a big-name defenseman, I think they'll be good. I think Minnesota has a lot of depth here. Their RFAs, all arbitration rights, are Jordan Schrader, who thought he'd be in the NHL after Cody Hodgson had retired. They were drafted back-to-back years. Schrader was seen as more of the long shot. He is more of the long shot, and yet he's still playing. Granlund, who's going to make a lot of money, as an RFA. He's going to be looking to cash in. I could see a 5 or 6 year deal for him, and I could see it being $6+ million a year. Eric Holla, who's a good middle tier guy. Nino Niederreiter, who knows what's going to happen with him. Could be traded. A lot of things could go on with him. He could end up being expansion bound. He could go to Vegas, but he's RFA. He's going to make money. He started scoring the way that he was projected to when he was drafted, so we'll see what happens there. On the blue line, you got Ryan Suter, Jared Spurgeon, Jonas Brodin, Marco Scandella, and Matt Dumba. RFA, you got Christian Folin, who I don't know if they're going to bother giving him a qualifying offer. Probably. He's got arbitration rights as well. Odds are one of those defensemen's going to go. I personally think Scandella's the one that's probably going to go. I mean, you know, Spurgeon makes $1 million more. Their deals expire at the same time, but I like more what Spurgeon does than Scandella. They're both useful defensemen, but again, I wouldn't lose as much sleep over losing Scandella as I would over losing Spurgeon. Dubnyk, starting goaltender, he's got 4 more years left at $4.3 million, which is a bargain considering the way he's played. He was not the reason that they failed against the Blues. That was just Jake Allen just shut everybody down. Minnesota couldn't score. Alex Stalock is probably the backup because Darcy Kemper is probably done. And I mean, Darcy Kemper's probably done at an NHL level. He is, I believe it says, yeah, he's 27. He's UFA, and I think he's done. And that's too bad, because I like Kemper a lot. I think he's a decent backup goaltender. He's had the stats, but it's as I said in a video last week, being a goaltender is a really difficult job. And when you have a bad season and your contract's at an end and you're not considered to be, you know, a number one goaltender, it's hard to find a job after that. Peter Budaj is the example I use from this season. As far as prospects that could come up, I like Alex Tuck. I know he didn't have a great season in the minors, but he's 21. I think he's going to get his shot. There's a lot of names on here, and a lot of guys who could come in and could contribute, and you know, there's a lot of pieces in motion. The one that interests me is Mike Riley. When Mike Riley was signed by Minnesota, there was a lot of projections that he was just going to be great, and he was a steal, and he was this really fantastic pickup, and it really hasn't turned out for him, and I'm not sure why. I kind of baffled as to why it hasn't happened for him, but it hasn't. So for me anyways, Minnesota's a good team. They've got a lot that they can build on. They have currently, I'm going to take a look, I had it written down, but of course I erased it all when I was done this video earlier. They have projected cap space under the $73 million cap of next year of $11.4 million. So $11.4 million, that cap's probably going to go up, and when and if it does, they're going to be in a pretty good position. They're going to be in a pretty good position to improve their team if they pick up the right guy. The question is, who's the right guy? And what does expansion do to them? How much do you give up if you're Minnesota in order to protect this roster? Do you give up prospects and draft picks to try to prevent them picking somebody that you don't want? Maybe you give them a prospect and a draft pick so they take Chris Stewart. Maybe you just hold your breath and go through the expansion draft and hope that you come out of it on the other end just as solid as you were going in. The thing for Minnesota is they are perceived as a regular season team now and not as a playoff team, and they have to fix that, and they can only fix that by getting out of the second round next year. So they need to put together a team that can do that. How do you do that? Let me know in the comment section below how you think they can do that. Let me know if you think Bruce Boudreau can win a Game 7, can get a team over the hump in the playoffs. I don't think it's Boudreau's fault, but he'll take the flack for it. He always seems to take the flack for it. Took it in Anaheim, he took it in Washington, and yet they didn't win the cup when he left there either. So, you know, he seems to be good at motivating good teams to play well and make the playoffs, and then in the playoffs just something happens. So let me know what you guys think. I think they were sort of unlucky in that Jake Allen was out of his mind good in the first round, and just managed to outplay Devin Dubnyk. Dubnyk wasn't the problem. And it reminds me of, and I mentioned this the first time I did this video, might as well mention it again. Back in 2007, Marty Turco was sort of maligned the same way. Good regular season goaltender, not a great postseason goaltender. And he had a great postseason in 2007, and it didn't matter because Luongo was at the other end of the ice, playing just a little bit better with a Canucks team that was just a little bit better than Dallas. Maybe next year Dubnyk's able to get them over that hump. But if they go with Stalock as backup, how many games does Dubnyk play, and does that wear him down? Let me know what you guys think about that and other comments Minnesota related, and let's hope that this one doesn't freeze as the previous version of this video did. I apologize for that. I deleted it right away when I found out, and now we're trying it again. So thank you very much for your patience. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all again soon.